Look, if you've been following my channel, you know that I truly believe that this is a bear market. But look, don't get comfortable. Also think in the short term, we could be seeing a rally, and it's going to surprise almost everyone. Bitcoin's going to bounce, altcoins will rip, and crypto Twitter, it's going to scream, bottom confirmed, load up. But look, I think after that, the market's gonna roll over, and this grind's gonna continue just like every other bear market. If you don't understand this phase of the cycle, you're gonna sell the bottom or you're gonna buy that relief rally. So let's zoom out. We're gonna strip away the narratives and all the headlines, and we're gonna look at the structure of the market and what the charts actually say. But before we look at the charts, please understand markets move in sequences, not emotions, not vibes, not influencer predictions, even my own, of course. The late cycle sequence is almost always distribution, breakdown, relief rally, grind a little bit lower. Let that sink in for a bit. And look, and and when I look across Bitcoin, Solana, all the different mid caps, this is the same pattern I see building right now. We're not in an expansion phase, we're in a transition phase. Transitions are where most traders get trapped, especially if you can't control your emotions. So I would like to take a look at the Bitcoin chart, calling it the decision zone. And here's the macro map. The 100-week MA sitting around 87K. It's marked on the chart. The 200 MA around 58. Now, bull market line in the sand right now, excuse me, not that, but the bear market low line that I have marked as around 51K. This is where I'm going to really start dollar cost averaging back into the market. But if you look at this chart, we have had a massive breakdown from 90K, violent liquidations cascading into the low 60s. There was a huge volume spike. You can see it on the chart right here. And what did we do? We had a violent liquidation cascade that rolled all the way down to 59K. That's not retail panic. That's a forced leverage unwinding, and we see this in all bear markets. Now, here's the part nobody wants to admit. We're sitting directly above the 200-week moving average, which is sitting at around 59K. This level defines bear market cycles, and there's two paths right now. So 58K, 59K right here on the chart could fail right around the 200-week moving average, and we could get another leg lower. At that point, 51K becomes the magnet. That's a full bear market structure confirmed. Alts go even lower, bleeding and bleeding back to Bitcoin. And there's another path, and this path may sound a little bit better, but if 58K holds, and if it truly does hold, and we get it as support, we'll get a violent relief rally. And in the short term, I'm really watching 464K right here on the chart, which we're fighting with right now. If we don't get support back above here, then we're probably heading down to the lower end of the range. Here's the thing though, we have been going down for the longest time pretty much in Bitcoin's history. And when this happens, we tend to get a violent relief rally. And that is a knife I have been trying to catch with my trades. So if this line in the sand holds at 400K, we could get a bounce maybe to 70, maybe even 72K. And that rally might convince people the bottom is in. It happened last cycle and it happened in March. And it didn't last very long either. But unless we can reclaim 87K. Really, we could lower it a little bit. 87K, by the way, is the 100-week moving average. The bear market hasn't happened, or excuse me, the bull market hasn't started back up. So the question really is what happens after the bounce? But let's take a look at Ethereum now. So Ethereum is actually right now sitting at 1,858K. And this is important because at this point, Ethereum has lost the 50, the 100, and the 200 week moving average, which we have talked about on previous videos. Historically, when ETH is below the 200 week moving average, it signals a deep corrective condition. Alts are bleeding like crazy. The structure are lower highs, lower lows. And the key support, actually, if you take a look here, is right here around 1750. But below that, you're looking at 5,400 and then $1,000. Now, here's where that rally thesis fits in. If Bitcoin actually bounces from where it is right now, ETH could push back to 2,200, 2,400K, right around the 200 week moving average. But I think that's going to be a tough one for ETH to overcome. That is what we call a relief rally in the bear market. And that's what I think could happen. But of course, I'm just a dad who's very interested in researching DeFi protocols, coins, and looking at some charts. Just remember, relief rallies are where capital gets distributed. And that is why right now I'm positioning long on some of my DeFi positions. I've already told some in my community, very similar to some of my trades. And on top of that, I'll be preparing to go short on my DeFi positions once we get a breakdown from that relief rally. Now, let's take a look at Solana. Solana lost the 200 week about a month ago. We lost the 100, the 50 week, and 117 weekly support quite a while ago. This is a clean downtrend channel, lower highs confirmed. Solana right now is sitting right at $78.85, but they touched down as low as $72, $73. The supports we're looking at on Solana are falling between 77 and 78. If Bitcoin bounces, Solana could easily squeeze back to $95. Not that I'm considering a long or anything. I do believe, though, that that move will feel super aggressive, and Bitcoin loses 60K. My soul could easily tag $55, $60. That is an absolute trap. Bear markets, they're going to bounce hard, but it will continue on. I don't think it's over yet. And the thing is, when it's truly over, everyone's going to call you crazy for going long. Now, the next chart I want it to look at is Tau. Now, we're going to take a look at Tau on the daily. And Tau right now is sitting at $167.78. And while back, it experienced a heavy rejection right here around $216. This is a clear distribution pattern on lower time frames, as you can see right here. Tau has looked like a distribution downtrend really since the middle of January. We get a relief rally here. Tau could maybe spike up 15 or 20%. I'm really eyeing 200, 216, its local high right here. And after that, the 100 is sitting at $243. But structurally, smart money probably exit this one much higher. We've been just farming Tau on a few subnets. But until higher lows form, this is distribution. So let's take a look at Aero. Aerodrome is the leading DEX on base. And I'm calling this bleed structure because Aero touched down around 27 cents. Port is sitting right there around 28, 27 cents. Now we have bounced back up. We're sitting at 33 cents right now, but this is not an accumulation period. To me, this is a slow bleed. We're going to have a relief rally at some point. Sure, maybe all the way back up to 50 cents, 47 cents, but unless it reclaims 47 cents on the weekly, the macro trend remains down for Aero, but we will accumulate at lower prices. We are bullish on Aero. Now, if we take a look at the Zora token, which has made our creator coin hurt so bad because all creator coins are paired with Zora. Down another 2% on the day, is sitting at penny and almost 2 cents. And this is really capitulation. territory. The bottom of the range is sitting at about 0.014 cents. We're almost there. Look, low caps like Zora behave in two ways. They're either going to slowly bleed into irrelevance or they get a violent, thin liquidity squeeze, which we have seen before right here when Zora pumped all the way back up to 4.5 cents. Look, we could easily get a 100% bounce on Zora, but the structure it remains fragile and it's going to bleed. And remember, all the creators are being paid in Zora tokens, and many of them sell them off to USD. This one is lottery ticket territory. I might have like a little gambling long set on a leveraged exchange like Layer Bank or Blowfin, sitting down somewhere around the bottom of the range, but I'm not expecting that to hit. So tiny size and own on a position that's crazy like this. And again, none of this is financial advice. So look, let's put it all together. Really, let's put it all together. So we're here, Stream Fear sitting at 9. We've had this late cycle, massive correction that, well, at least people thought it was that. And then we were like, hey, it's really the bear market. We've broken through the bull market, the 50, the 100, and we're heading down close to the 200. We're past the middle of the bear market more than likely. Look, bear continuation requires a Bitcoin weekly breakdown below 63K, and we're fighting it right now. ETH could lose 1750, Sol breaks 60. This could be a bloodbath. Stabilization actually requires a reclaim of over 72 to 75K Bitcoin, 2,400 ETH, and Sol would have to reclaim at least $70 to $75. Until these things start happening, we are in a distribution period. This is not the environment to go mega long. This is the kind of environment that tricks traders and grinds them up. The same thing can happen with DeFi investors. So look, don't buy into the euphoria yet. I'm not. That's what I'm doing. But I can't tell you what to do. I'm just a dad. And look, I'm not panicking right now, although my portfolio looks terrible. This creates confusion, and that's when the market takes it back from you. So this is where accounts get destroyed. It's not in the bull markets. It's in this corrective volatility and this slow grind down. This is time-based capitulation, and it will drive you insane. So you need to manage conservatively. I'm trying to allocate as much as possible to stable coins. I'd like to get my portfolio up to 40%. And I'm only looking to buy back major weekly supports, although I do dollar cost Bitcoin many times weekly, not financial advice, of course. I'm avoiding low caps, too small, unless there is high conviction or maybe a friend's project. I'm not in hero mode right now. I'm in process mode. And so, yes, I believe this is bear market territory and that there will be a rally at some point that's going to surprise some people. Last cycle happened beginning of March. That rally is going to suck all kinds of liquidity back into crypto. And that rally is going to make our timeline super bullish again, at least temporarily. But look, if this lower part of the range doesn't hold, we're going down lower. And remember, process over emotions, structure over narratives. And if you really want these real-time updates or my trades while I'm doing them in real time, check out our premium Telegram and join the free Telegram for our market updates. And I will see you in the next breakdown. And until next time, peace.